Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our webinar this morning. I'd like to introduce Mike Sweeney and myself, Jim Hill. We're co-presenting today on two topics and subjects that we think really mesh well together. The first is our AutomateSafety program, and Mike is going to review how that particular program can really assist an organization, employees, and really become more efficient and more aware of safety. The second program that we're going to review today is our Wellness401k program. We really feel that tying in safety, wellness, will just completely help an organization in a manner in which there's a solution for your staff. And some things just really work well together. It's kind of like an employee who needs to wear two gloves while they're working around machinery. They're not just going to put one glove on, they're going to put two gloves on. And so we really feel that having good workplace safety initiatives, tying those in to great wellness initiatives and programs can really result in a healthier, more productive workplace. And Mike and I feel that many of the employers and clients that we work with make the mistake of viewing their safety and health protection programs and their workplace wellness programs as two distinct activities, which then in turn really becomes two separate silos. And so what Mike and I, our approach and what our approach today is we really want to promote overall health and safety by preventing workplace injuries and illnesses, by putting two programs that you have access to through Clark Mortensen for your employees, for your HR professionals, and those that are in charge of safety and or wellness. And so we feel like these two programs can help with wellness committees, safety committees, and any of those programs that you have in your organization. So we're really excited to launch, kind of relaunch these starting in 2021. We feel these initiatives are very exciting for you. I think the biggest thing that Mike and I want to kind of stress today is a lot of these programs are set it and forget it programs. And we'll go through, a lot of the details in the next hour. But really, I think the biggest thing is cost. There's no cost for these programs. And I think Mike will really kind of hone in on that through the AutomateSafety program. And then obviously I will as well. So, we kind of wanted to mention that right off. There's no cost to this. This is a program that you would have access through Clark Mortensen. So with that said, I'd really like to turn it over to my co-presenter, Michael Sweeney. And Mike is going to start off with AutomateSafety for about a half an hour, and then we'll get into Wellness401k. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Jim. Thank you for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today. Again, Michael Sweeney here, Business Solutions Advisor, part of our Business Solutions team here at Clark Mortensen. We have several other members in our agency that participate in this program because we're not here to just look at your insurance needs. We're here to look at the well-being of your place of business or establishment for not only the short term, but for the long term and allowing you to thrive. A little bit about myself real quick. I'm the proud father of 3 young boys, happily married. As a result of having 3 young sons that are fairly active, I do coach locally in the youth flag football and baseball leagues. I also am the assistant varsity baseball coach here at Keene High. And just high level, I love being outside. So I like to, work in my yard. That's kind of my outdoor therapy. But as Jim mentioned, we're really jumping into 2021 here and really looking at helping you and your place of employment being employee centric. And what that means is we want to help you attract new talent, retain new talent, minimize costs, make your place of employment a place where prospects or employees want to go to work and ultimately allow you to thrive and help your bottom line. So as we get into this today, my focus today is on AutomateSafety and the safety aspects that you can implement in your workplace to really help your employees thrive and ultimately help you down the road. I want to look at this first slide here, okay? And this is how we're going to kind of get into some high-level stuff of safety, and then we'll get into the minutia of the actual program that we have available. But if you look at this slide right here, okay, we have two pyramids. The pyramid on the left is how we traditionally look at businesses, okay? Now, and I'm looking at this, and we have a small triangle at the top that says prevent. Then we have the middle portion there that says contain, and then the bottom portion is insure, okay? A lot of business owners really dwell on the insuring part, like how much it costs, what am I spending, yada, 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 all the factors that kind of go into that. We want to invoke a mindset of where we're being more proactive, and we want to flip that pyramid. Because if we can implement some safety structure and some policies and procedures up front, that is going to minimize your insuring costs down the road. So let's spend a little bit now to prevent having work comp costs, to prevent having our experience mod go through the roof. And I can, and our staff here at Clark Mortensen can certainly get into more detail of what those terms mean. But ultimately, the more claims you have, the more your insurance is going to cost you. So if we can prevent claims from happening, that is going to save you money down the road. Okay. So this is kind of where we're coming from. And nowadays, everyone should have some form of safety program. And I say this in that when we look at the insurance from our level, one of the first questions we get from an underwriter is, do they have a safety program? What does it entail? And kind of some of the factors there. So the benefits of the safety program are help you cost-wise, because they're going to help you with your insurance, but they're really going to help you with your employees and your employee morale. And if an employee can come to their workplace and not be fearful of the environment they're in, or second guess the machinery they're operating on, or whatever that may be, they're going to be happy, more productive employees. Okay, you're not going to have employees calling out. You're not going to have employees missing time due to workers' comp claims. So as a whole, if you have all your employees on staff and working and being productive, again, that allows you to make more product, to provide your service, whatever that may be, and help your bottom line. The other factor it does is reputation. Okay, there's a few clients in this area, regardless of industry, that have an unsafe reputation. They're just worried about their bottom line. So they have a tough time attracting talent. They have a tough time retaining employees. So you want to have that positive reputation in the community that this is a great business. They turn out a great product. They have great employees. Their employees love working for them. All those positive attributes, are reflected in social media nowadays. And social media is dangerous, but it is also helpful. And we see that from all aspects, where you can look at someone's reputation, or what's hot, what's new, what's exciting. People put up a lot of good things, but a lot of bad things make it onto social media as well. So just be cognizant of that. And the last part about this is, Jim alluded to that we're going to talk about the wellness aspect of this, and how safety and wellness kind of come together is not only your work comp claims, but your health insurance. If you offer benefits, okay, how does your healthy workforce affect your insurance premiums for health insurance? You have a better experience mod, which I mentioned, which is your claims history. And all those factors, doing a little work on the front end is going to help you down the road. Okay, so we talked about the bottom line. And this is where I kind of want to get into the cost part of this for you. Okay, this is a really great graphic, and we've done a lot of seminars over the years, and I did one last year in workers' compensation and kind of the details that go along with that. And this is a great graphic to kind of show that. So we have an iceberg where a lot of the iceberg, or most of the iceberg's mass, is below the surface. So when we look at this graphic right here, we see insured costs. You have the medical costs, you have workers' compensation costs. Those are the costs that you see. Those are above the surface. and those are really general. Those are immediately in your face. However, there's a lot of costs below the surface that you don't see right away and that are going to come back to haunt you, if you don't take care of the problems. When you have a lot of claims, you might get into investigation time of those claims. That's time and money. The cost of hiring someone to look into that or to replace your workforce. Overtime, if you're not going to replace your workers, you're going to ask other workers in your current employee base to work extra time to make up for that work. The clerical time, the wages, downtime where production is not going to be where it should be or could be if you were producing at an optimal level. Okay, all these costs add up, and this is where you can really get whacked in terms of if you do not have that safe environment for your employees. So that's why it's almost better to spend some money up front and really give your employees the safe environment, the PPE, the personal protective equipment, all those factors. Spend the money up front, be proactive and not reactive. And that's really our job, is to kind of bring some of these questions and thoughts to your minds so that we can invoke this conversation and help you prepare and not react to the issues that may come down the road. Okay. In implementing a workplace safety environment, there's a number of ways to look at this. Okay. We can go through the policies and procedures, and all that stuff, and we'll get to that. But I like this graphic as well because there's 5 levels of basically keeping your employees safe. The top level right there is elimination. Remove the hazard. Take the hazard out of the environment. Okay, whether that be a dangerous threshold in your walking environment, if employees have to walk through their workspace, dangerous pieces of machinery that aren't guarded correctly, potholes in the parking lot, someone twists an ankle, whatever that may be, fix them. Get rid of the hazard altogether. Substitution, next level. Okay, replace the hazard. Okay, meaning get a better one, get a newer version. Get one that has a guard on it. Okay, so we have take it away, and now we have replace it, because there is a point in time where there is newer, better, brighter, a shinier new tool out there, but is also more safe. So that would be something to consider as well. The engineering controls, and this is something that has become more prevalent here with the COVID situations, isolating those workers. Okay, within the work environment, spreading people out, having barriers, having distance, whatever that may be, just kind of spreading people out. Okay. The next one would be the administrative controls, changing the way people work. And this is a little bit more arbitrary in that now we have, and this isn't applicable to all places of business because nowadays you can allow people to work from home. So therefore we've taken the engineering controls, we've taken all that away, and now we allow the people to work in their own environment as long as they're being productive and doing their job. And the last level of safety there, and the last level of dependence from your point of view, is PPE, personal protective equipment, making sure your employees are equipped with the right equipment, goggles, the proper attire, an apron, not wearing loose clothing, proper footwear, whatever that may be, the possible ergonomic issues, sitting in a chair appropriately, looking at a computer. This isn't just the high risk situations. This can also trickle down to the clerical situations and make sure your employees are safe. Okay. So getting into this, who is required to have a safety program? Well, that's kind of a trick question. Everyone is obligated to provide a safe working environment for their employees. Okay. That is huge. And I touched upon that briefly early on here, and Jim will talk about that. We want our employees to feel comfortable in their environment, to be able to thrive. If they don't come to work and feel comfortable, they're not going to be productive. Okay. If we get to the logistics here of a safety program in New Hampshire, if you have 15 or more employees, that's basically the baseline. You have to have a safety program. But I'll tell you, from our standpoint as advisors, we're gonna advise everyone does, whether you have 3 employees or 23 or 103 employees, you should have some kind of safety program, a safety manual, whatever that may be. We're here in nice little quaint small town USA here in Keene, New Hampshire. We have all kinds here on Main Street. We have eateries, we have jewelry stores, we have knick-knack stores, whatever it may be. Everyone has their own hazards in their respective places of business. Okay. You need to be cognizant of that and be aware of not only what your patrons may have as they enter your environment, but what your employees are subject to on a day-to-day basis. Cording around their desk, cords, loose cords. If someone loses their train of thought and they get up and their foot is wrapped up, that's an issue. So just be aware of all those factors. So in New Hampshire, that threshold is 15. Vermont does not have those strict guidelines. Okay, Vermont is a little bit more loose in their restrictions, but it still is on their radar. The Department of Labor and OSHA are still looking for those things when they go in establishments. The biggest thing here too is involve your employees. Be consistent with your message, number one. If you have something in print, a safety manual or employee manual, whatever it may be, that has to be your law. That has to be your Bible, so to speak. Because if you don't practice what you preach, it doesn't matter. Okay, you got to practice what you preach, what you put in writing. Let that be the law, so to speak. The last piece I said, involve your employees. Ask your employees for feedback. Give them a sense of power. Let them be vested in that decision-making process because they're the ones that have to work in that environment. Now that means, that could be, again, working in the jewelry store. They don't like the walking or there's sharp corners in some of the cases. Working in a restaurant, the fry later or whatever might not be protected or too much traffic walking through a certain doorway. And then obviously the high hazard environments, whether that be construction or manufacturing. But let the employee have a voice. Let them know that their voice matters too. All right. Really listen to them. And that should be ongoing feedback. All right. What are obstacles of a safety program? Obviously, the time and energy it puts to implementing a safety program. Where do I get my material? How long all that takes to kind of put all that together and organize it. I know I address that with my clients or prospects, and this is all well and good, but this is taken away from our main job. This kind of goes back to our flipping the pyramid. Take the time up front to implement that safe environment so the rest of the time of the day can be productive. Okay. The commitment, the way you deliver it. Okay. Nowadays, this is a new thing, and we're going to touch upon this here in our solution. Our days of meeting in a room and having toolbox talks in a real intimate environment are gone, or at least for the time being. COVID situation with distancing and all the safety precautions that we have to take nowadays are out the window. So now we have the ability to implement something, and I don't want to spoil it, I don't want to spill my popcorn, but we have a solution for that. So all those things kind of get in the way of why we can't. Well, we have a solution, okay, and we touched upon it. It's called AutomateSafety, all right. We have partnered with a software developer to implement this safety program, and this parlays off a couple other things. Jim's Wellness401k will be part of this platform as well, and then we also have another one that we've done, which is OSHAlogs.com. All these kind of coincide together, all right, the safety and the health and well-being of our employees. Well, AutomateSafety is something that can deliver your safety training, give you the content, save you time, eliminate all those obstacles that we just had on that previous screen. It gets rid of all that for you. Okay. And this is something that can be implemented. You do not have to be tech savvy to do this. I'm by no means a computer guru. Okay. I'm not a computer expert. We've played around with this. I have a few clients using this program already, and it's easy. And I say that, and we're going to walk you through what you see in the 4-step process. Okay. But we do have a solution for you. The first thing, AutomateSafety. You look at this slide right here, and I talked about deliverability, the intimate environments of everyone getting in a group. You look at this slide right here, everyone's kind of looking at it. You need a cell phone, an iPad, a laptop, some kind of source where the material can be delivered to you. And if you look at this slide, all these different individuals here are looking at it in their respective work environments. So that's huge. They can receive the information anytime, any place. You're not disrupting everyone's schedule. It's easy over. Okay. Now to get into kind of the minutia of this. All right. AutomateSafety, 4-step program. You look at this real quick. We're going to upload the employee information, name, contact info, whether that be a cell phone number, email, whatever that may be. Second process, select your topics. Third process, how often you want them distributed. Do you want them weekly, monthly, once a quarter, whenever that may be. Safety meetings are supposed to happen once a quarter minimum. Okay, we recommend something more than that because we want this to become part of your culture. Safety should be part of your employee culture and what you're known for. We talked about reputation. This should be part of it. Weekly, monthly, whatever that may be consistent in your message. And then we develop the frequency and then obviously sending it to your employees. But there is also one thing on here that it isn't mentioned is accountability. There is a way to make sure your employees are listening to the information or seeing it. Okay. So the next part, again, we're going to upload the employee information, email, phone number. This can be done on a mass file list as well, an Excel file, can upload this information. So that can certainly help that process. Okay, it doesn't have to be, if you have 100 employees, you're not doing this 100 times. If you don't, it might be worth putting it in a spreadsheet to kind of help that process. The next part, okay, this is really the great part. And this might be the most time consuming part here is the library of topics. Okay, and this is a screen right from the program here. And on this screen here, it has the 3-point of contact rule, the 4-to-1 ladder angle rule, and 5 common lockout tagout machines. So you would go through this expanse of library of things, of topics to choose from. And I gave you a little cut and copy here on the next slide to kind of see how it is. On this slide alone, there's 88 topics to choose from. Okay, and this might be hard for some of you to read, and we can get you certainly get you more information on this. But some of these are back safety, safety data sheets, some of the things that go along with that, scaffolding safety, equipment maintenance, emergency procedures. What the order of operations may be. And then there's the obvious ones on here. There's aerial lift training. There's lawnmower safety. I'm just kind of looking at the list here. So there's all kinds of things. Ergonomic training, fighting complacency in the workplace. So it's not just all the real physical things, and that's the best part about this. You want to look at this library of resources specific to your place of employment. What are the hazards your employees are subjected to? And that's, again, ask for feedback. Let your employees be involved in this. This is what I want to see. And some of that is set up by the Department of Labor or OSHA. Some of those prerequisites need to be trained annually. So you want to have all those in there. But obviously, the biggest thing we deal with up here in New England, especially if you work outside, what's unique? The weather. We have 4 seasons. We got to deal with the 100 degrees. We got to deal with the 0 degrees. We got to deal with the snow, the rain, the sun, and everything in between. So, working outside, that's something to be cognizant of as well in terms of safety, especially if you do work outside. But even your premises, how that affects your premises and the ice and all those factors. Okay. So that's probably going to be the most time-consuming part of this. But when I say time-consuming, how long would it take you to do this before? You're spending hours a month, maybe. Whatever that may be, that time. This is 20 to 30 minutes, and it's set it and forget it, like Jim alluded to. And again, the next piece here is coming up with the frequency. On this slide here, it had once a week, going for these 2 months. That might be too much for some of you all. Once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever that may be. We have a couple employers and prospects that like to do it by the job. If they're a high hazard industry, the different environment, the different terrain they're working on is specific. So they like to do a quick toolbox talk when they start a new job or different equipment is in the mix. So just be cognizant of that. What is specific to your work environment? So again, I mentioned the time frame. This says 15 minutes. I think to be a little liberal, let's look at 20 to 30 minutes because you're going to have to get familiar with the material. Once you get in there and move around, it's a little bit easier to to implement that and pick your topics. But the first time you go in there, you're going to want to look. You're going to want to investigate. Okay. And the last piece to this is how it's delivered. It's delivered right to their PC, their cell phone, their iPads, any kind of mobile device. And this is time saving for them as well. You're not getting everybody together in a group, disrupting the production line, disrupting the sales line, disrupting clerical time. They get it. They take it on a break. They work it into free time within their day. It allows a little bit more fluidity in the work environment. And again, being more employee conscious, a little bit more employee centric to help your employees thrive and be productive. All right. This doesn't mean you're going to eliminate those toolbox talks or face-to-face meetings. That doesn't mean this. This is just another avenue to go down to kind of supplement that delivery, supplement that material. And even if you don't use this method of delivery, maybe you still use the material. Maybe you still use this material to do the face-to-face meetings, once a quarter, whatever that may be. All right. The next piece, I just want to kind of show you a close-up. This would be a sample of the content they would receive. The 3-point contact rule here. It's very descriptive, goes right down through bullet points. And again, these are easy to read. They're not reading paragraphs. It's kind of bullet point oriented, so it's easy to pick out. At the end of this, there'll be a short quiz, just to kind of verify they went through this. Right? Grades don't matter, but we want to make sure they're reading it. And you do get some kind of feedback, on your end that they have taken it, they have opened it, etc. So there is an accountability standpoint to this. So that's best part, because it's a follow-up. It's being consistent. We want to show our employees that we care about them. Okay, and that's first and foremost. Yes, this is helping our bottom line, but you want to care about your employees, or I hope you do, because without your employees, your business cannot thrive. Okay, again, just high level here, delivery is consistent. The target is specific. You have your content that we're going to choose from. The individual trainings, once everything's set up on your end, the individual trainings and the material that's delivered to your employees, 5 minutes or less, easy. And if you do things more in a routine, it's easier to retain that knowledge. So maybe you can keep the same topics year to year and vary them as things evolve, vary the content as things evolve and becomes more modern. And then obviously the engagement and the accountability with the quiz. Okay, it's automated, it's accessible, it's available, it cut down on all those obstacles. All right, when you have different levels of employees, with different capacities, this is a consistent way to deliver that information. And Jim touched upon this from the onset. It's free. It's a resource we are giving because we are trying to help you with your bottom line, make your businesses thrive, make your businesses grow. But without that, how do we do that? We need to provide that safe, healthy work environment. All right, that's what you need to do, and we're trying to help you with that. So it's a set it and forget it resource. You spend a little time here at the beginning of the year, set your schedule for the first quarter, first half of the year, or even if the whole year, if you want to do that. And then you're not worrying about it month to month, week to week, whatever that may be. The content is here for you. Reach out to us. We have like I said, we have a team here at Clark Mortensen that has all these resources, and we want to give you this. All right, but we don't know the problems unless you ask. We're going to peddle this. We're going to try to promote this as much as possible, just like OSHAlogs.com and Jim's part, Wellness401k. We need to parlay all that stuff together to help you thrive and be successful in your business. The last piece of this is we want to help you do everything in your power to keep your employees, to attract new talent, to allow you to grow. This, slide right here kind of really hits home. I think about my job. My job is not a high hazard job, obviously. Okay, I'm here to help everyone else out. But at the end of the day, what's the most important thing to each and every one of us? Our families. Okay. At the end of the day, there's a 95% chance, other than driving around, going to see different people and whatever, there isn't much hazard in my job. I have a pretty good opportunity to go down home and see my loved ones, my 3 boys, my loving wife. I look at this picture, and this is a reminder to you. Your employees all have families. You have families. You want to provide that environment so they can get home to see their loved ones. Okay, and that's really what this is all about. Why do we all work? We all work to make a living, to support our families. We need to be able to benefit from that and get home and see our families. All right. So really, there is a sentimental side to this and a backbone to all this of why we're doing this. It's to help you all out, but also to be that caring employer. You really want to invoke a culture that you're looking out for your employees' well-being. And Jim, I know, is going to touch upon this as well in his portion of, it's not only the safety, but it's the wellness of our employees, whether that be mental or physical. All right. And we can certainly, this was really quick today, but I really just want to stress to you the importance of your safe work environments for your employees, the resources we have available here at Clark Mortensen, and please reach out to any of our team members here to kind of help set this up to you. I'm going to reach back out to Jim here. Jim, did we have any questions that came along throughout the presentation?
The only question that came in, Mike, was how much time does it generally take to set up when someone first gets access to the AutomateSafety program? And it was just more of a general question.
Yep. The first time is always going to be the longest because you're the least familiar. The first two things that take the most time are inputting the employee information and then choosing your topics. The next time around, you wouldn't have to choose your input your employee information unless you had an influx of employees or a turnover of employees. That's the only thing that would vary there. On an annual basis, if you want to keep some staple trainings or resources or safety things in there, that's great. And now you just supplement them with new and more modern material or specific to the job as your business evolves. I'd say the first time is definitely the longest, maybe toying around an hour max. But after that, honestly, once you're inputting the information, it's 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how often, how much material, the frequency, kind of all those factors. But again, it's a one and done, set it and forget it. You use that term, but that's a very appropriate term here. So, yeah. And if at all costs, the database, the resources available, the safety, the content that you can use to, still have your face-to-face meetings to supplement those as well is still invaluable. So,
great.
Well, thank you again for your time here. I'm going to turn this over to Jim. If you do have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box, and our business solutions team will reach out to you and follow up in the coming days. But again, Jim, he's going to give a little bit about himself, but I really want to parlay this into workers' compensation, and this is the safety or is the workplace injury and illness, whether that's mental or physical. So this is how these two programs really parlay together. We want our employees to be healthy and safe mentally and physically. So without further ado, thank you for your time today. Jim,
Thanks,
I'll
Mike.
be looking at the chat box for you.
Thanks. And I just want to confirm, can you see the slides, Mike, for Wellness401k yet?
I can't because I'm going to stop my share. You have to do your part. Did you share yours yet, Jim?
I can right now. I just want to make sure. I think you stopped
I saw
yours.
I saw yours on my screen, but now you have to share.
Yeah. And is that coming up, Mike?
Nope, not yet. You still see mine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start, and we're going to figure out how this will come up. It does say that I'm sharing. So let me just see. Sorry, guys. We'll try that again.
I'm sorry. I believe we do have a few panelists that see it, but I think that was me clicking it. Jim, click it again to see if your name.
Sure.
And just verify with our panelists that everyone else can see it. I think we're good.
Okay, great. So we really want to concentrate on Wellness401k. Don't let the name scare you in terms of 401k. There's always been a little bit of confusion in terms of why it's called Wellness401k, and I'll kind of share that with you now. In terms of employees investing their financial well-being with the company and the organization that they're with, we want employees to also invest in their wellness and their lifestyle and their overall health. And so really why we wanted to tie that into Wellness401k is this. We have so many employees that we've known through the years that have invested so much money into their financial 401k, their retirement program, only to retire and because of health reasons not be able to reap the benefits of all of that retirement that they've put into, because unfortunately there were some health reasons. So we really wanted to tie in not only the safety aspect, because that's really what employees are doing while they're at work, but we also wanted to tie in their wellness and having a wellness program can sometimes be overwhelming for staff, overwhelming for the HR department. And so what we've really tried to do here is simplify, make something that's more tangible for staff to kind of grasp and really understand what wellness is all about for them. Again, this is a free program. There's no cost to this. And really what Mike and I are trying to really get across today is these programs that you have access to, it's a set it and forget it program. So, wellness can affect companies' bottom line as well in many ways. And in particular, lower, your healthcare costs, prescription coverage. It's a major factor in healthcare costs right now. And I just saw something the other day where there were two lines, and one line had prescriptions and the other line had lifestyle change. And everyone was in the prescription line and no one was in the lifestyle change line. And so I think we're just becoming so dependent on, I go to my doctor, I get my checkup, I get my annual labs, and my primary care physician says, hey, let's try this medication or let's try this. And so we really want to make sure that we're talking to our staff about wellness and lifestyle changes. So, healthcare costs, prescriptions, this can definitely affect that. It can increase productivity, it can decrease absenteeism, and it can raise employee morale. Employees spend so much time in the workplace, and now with what's happened in the last 12 months, they're spending a lot of time at home and in the workplace at the same time. And so the access to snacks, to just sitting, not getting up, not going to see someone, not going to meetings. We're really finding that employees are becoming more stagnant. There's huge increase in ergonomic issues right now that we're seeing. And so what we thought, again, is the workplace is an ideal setting to address health and wellness issues because they're there all the time. And so how can an employer help supplement some of these wellness offerings and wellness programs? Wellness401k could be that solution. Huge potential benefit to employees. Most wellness programs fail to produce the desired results of lower healthcare costs and higher productivity because the program just can't be sustained over time. An HR person leaves. There isn't that culture of wellness that we've really implemented within our organization because someone will start it, it lasts for 6 months or a year, and then it just kind of peters out in terms of sustainability because we don't set up a proper committee. We don't have enough topics. We don't even know where to start. So we wanted this program to inspire employees to invest in their lives like they would in their 401k retirement. And so one thing that we really stress, and this is a key thing that we tell employees when we go through open enrollment meetings with them or we talk about Wellness 401k is we want you to retire with dignity. And so when we say retire with dignity in terms of their financial retirement plan, but also with their lifestyle. And so the importance of Wellness 401k, and we've all been told how important it is to have a financial retirement, right? I mean, we hear that all the time. And so what we also want to incorporate is how important it is to have a wellness retirement plan as well. And so that's why it's called Wellness 401k. And again, does anybody know someone who passed way too soon after retirement? I just had someone say to me the other day, hey, Jim, I heard you just got to make it through your 50s and you'll be okay. And that kind of stuck with me like, God, I don't think people realize, as they're aging in the workplace, how important their lifestyle is. And so what's the point in saving for retirement if you have to use it all for healthcare and or save for retirement when you aren't even around to use it? And so, a lot of people, the baby boomers are retiring right now, and Amanda Macy in our office and I get a ton of questions about Medicare, Part A, Part B, Part D. What does it cover? What doesn't it cover? And so, those kinds of questions when people retire, we want to make sure that their lifestyle has enforced that they're not spending a lot of money on healthcare when they retire. So why most wellness programs fail. And so lack of consistency. Wellness programs often start strong. They really do, but they taper off as time goes by. Why? Because successful wellness programs need fresh content and new initiatives regularly to keep employees engaged. And so that's where Wellness 401k comes in. There is just a wealth of topics, different solutions that you can help provide for your employees in an easy, quick manner for them to read and, most importantly, understand. And so a huge time commitment that often isn't feasible for HR departments because they're spread so thin is a wellness program. And so how would Wellness 401k help provide a solution there? A lot of times, the best way to provide value for this is to take as much wellness related work as possible off HR's plate. A cost-effective way to do this for all of us is to partner with us in terms of Wellness 401k. This program is easy. And what's great about this is you've got support on the back end with the business solutions team and Amanda and I in terms of, helping you get your wellness committee set up, helping you with topics. And so Wellness 401k helps that. And so sometimes the wrong employee message, where wellness programs are first introduced to employees, they tend to focus on, the benefits to the employer. When an employer says, well, we need to lower healthcare costs, so we're putting a wellness program in place, employees just don't feel like they're going to be that engaged in that because they feel like, what's in it for them? Now, obviously, over time, we can lower healthcare costs, and we've definitely seen that with our clients. But these reasons just don't resonate with employees and can lead to sometimes lower participation. They want to know what's in it for them as an employee. And so, the last reason that we really want to talk about is this, one size, fits all approach. And so a lot of times, one of the biggest reasons, again, that wellness programs fail is applying this one size fits all approach. And most wellness programs focus only on action, yet 20% of employees are generally ready to take health-related action. And the other 80 need to go through the various stages of change before they're ready to act. And so action-oriented wellness content can intimidate or cause resistance. And so, we used to see years ago where, organizations would have like a biggest loser challenge and things like that. And people just would not participate because they were embarrassed or they didn't know where to go. And so, having different types of content, and we're not just talking about health here. Wellness 401k is also talking about stress, financial stability, ways to communicate with your family better. There's just a wealth of information of content that we're going to be able to provide for you. So, just a quick exercise. When we used to drive into work, what are you going to do to make sure that your car lasts a long time? Well, you generally get an oil change. You do maintenance on your car. You change your filters, you change your tires, you take care of your car. And so we feel like, your body is the same way. And so by taking care of your body over time through a wellness program will really reap benefits when you do want to retire. And we always ask the question, how long do you want your body to last? And what are you going to do to take care of your body and mind? So why should you be interested? In the United States, the life expectancy in 1980 was about 73.61 years. And the life expectancy in the United States in 2018, is 78.54 years. Now, what we've seen, people are living longer, and that was up until 2018. And so that doesn't mean they're necessarily living better. What we have seen is that over the last 3 years, life expectancy may be actually decreasing in some of the decades. So why? We're seeing more childhood obesity. It's more than tripled over the last 3 years. And why is that? Well, research has really been linked to that decline, to the fact that working age Americans between 25 and 64 have been dying at higher rates. And these rates have been, really related to drug overdoses, suicide, alcohol-related diseases, overeating, lack of activity. And so the workforce has obviously changed over the last 4 years as well. And the workforce has changed dramatically over the last 12 months. And so, what do kids like to do these days? I was taking a walk with my wife over the weekend. It was about 6:30 on Sunday, and I was walking around our neighborhood, and it was just dead silent. And I just turned to her and I said, God, when I was a kid growing up, there were kids were bicycling, playing catch, playing basketball, tag, whatever it was. And, just the ability for our children to play in a neighborhood is really gone away because of the digital age. And so, inactivity is definitely a problem with children, and we're seeing high cases of childhood obesity. So why should you be interested again? Let's shift gears away from like the childhood and the children obesity and what they're doing. And let's talk about the aging process. Aging is a very gradual, continuous process of natural change that begins in early adulthood. During early middle age, mainly bodily functions begin to gradually decline in terms of, people don't want to become old or elderly at a specific age. And traditionally age 65 has been that designated age where, people feel like, well, I'm 65, I'm retiring. And that's just not the case. If you look at your Social Security update, a lot of people that are in the workforce now, their retirement age isn't until 67. And so it's not a disease. Aging isn't a disease, but our bodies are changing as we get older. And it makes us more vulnerable to some medical conditions and, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, et cetera. So, the aging process is something that we need to, confront and we need to know about. So there's no doubt aging will impact your body with more aches, pains, creaks. We become more susceptible to illness and disease. Unfortunately, we can't stop the aging process, but we can change the way that we prepare for aging with lifestyle choices. And so, again, as an employer, having a wellness program in place, we'll see huge benefits in all sorts of different facets of employment. So 2 important lifestyle choices, and we wanted to share 2 studies, one from the CDC and one from the Journal of American Medical Association, and adopting these new habits really reemphasizes what these 2 studies show. So key factors in healthy living, we have quality of care, hereditary factors, environment, and then lifestyle choices. And if we did a percentage chart or a pie chart on these 4 categories, you could see 10% is quality of care, 18 hereditary, and then environment, and then over 53% is lifestyle choices. So, it's something that we really want to emphasize as your employees are in your workplace. We want to emphasize that culture. Causes of premature death. And what do these 3 things have in common? Tobacco use, poor diet and activity, and alcohol use. They all involve lifestyle choices. And then, think about when we talk about premature death, car crashes, firearms, drug use, and surprisingly only account for 4% combined. Only a fraction of deaths are caused by lifestyle choices. And so we really need employees to understand that lifestyle choices are a huge factor. And then when we talk about retirement for our staff, that's their goal. Once they get to a certain age, they start to really think about retirement. Again, over the last 10 years with the baby boom coming in, it's been a huge topic. So we often list the four most popular states that people want to retire to. And we don't get a lot of people saying they want to retire to Alaska or Washington or Canada. And so we often get Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and studies have shown that these are the four most popular destinations for retirement. And why? What do they all have in common? Outdoor living, the weather, and it's not just about, I want to retire and play more golf. There's so much more that people want to do in retirement. And so they want to go to these areas where they can enjoy life. And being healthy is a key factor in that. So, relatively warm, sunny, generally affordable. They want to stay active when they retire. So just simply walking down the beach with one spouse is important to them. And unfortunately, if they can't, if they've neglected their lifestyle over years, it does affect them. So Wellness 401k, let's explore what this is and what this program is about. So the biggest thing is we want to engage all employees, not just those that are on your current health plan. And if you don't offer a current health plan, you can still offer Wellness 401k. A lot of times with wellness programs, we always get, my insurance carrier offers a wellness package and some incentives, but I have employees that are not on my current health plan. How do I get them engaged and involved? This could be a solution for that. So it's sent directly to employees, completely confidential, more consistent content, and more importantly, it's updated constantly. And so the content that you're putting out for employees for Wellness 401k is consistently updated. There isn't a federal law or a state law that says you as an employer have to offer a wellness program. But if you do, and you do have incentives for wellness programs, there are rules that apply. This is a little bit simple. This is an incentive program where we're going to lower health insurance premiums or give you bonuses. So we don't have to really worry about compliance in that aspect. It's much more simple. And we found that employees will be more engaged in this program because of that. There's videos, there's insight topics, there's posters. So you control the message that you want to be sent out. And again, this is a real set it and forget it program. So what does this look like? You've got different topics and you get a dashboard as the administrator. And within that dashboard, you can set what you want to be sent out for topics. Again, there's quick 30-second videos on different topics. You can supplement the videos with challenges in terms of, hydration. It could be a challenge to be more active with your family, et cetera. So just some topics that staff will have access to, that they can start to think about their wellness when they retire. You can do this on a monthly basis, a bi-weekly basis, a weekly basis, a quarterly basis, whatever you want. Completely up to you and completely customizable, which is great. So some of the topics and categories that are available through Wellness 401k, you've got compelling campaigns, inspiring insights, there's posters, there's safety focus. Again, all of these topics are going to go through, stress, mental well-being, financial well-being, lifestyle choices, all sorts of eating habits, sleeping. All of those kinds of topics are within each category. So again, just a wealth of information. So you've got, again, this was just a test, Jim's Gents. We've got some upcoming activities, and this was set, for March. So 10 tips to get your family moving. You could have a challenge, a 6-day My Plate challenge in terms of portion control. You can have 6 numbers that you need to know in terms of blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. So when you have employees that go and meet with their primary care physician for their annual well visit, the data that they get back, hopefully they can implement and understand what that data means because of Wellness 401k and how important it is when they meet with their primary physician, knowing that they have a goal for retirement, that they can retire with dignity in terms of their financial well-being and their health well-being. Again, these are just a sample of 10 tips to get your family moving. We have found with wellness programs that when family members are involved and supportive on whatever an employee's goals are, be it hydration, financial, stress, sleeping, whatever, if they know that their family is supporting them in their goals, the result is much higher. So, Wellness 401k, again, like Mike and I have kind of alluded to, simple program, no cost. You're simply setting what you want for categories and topics. Once that is set, it really runs itself. And so you can obviously go in there and change different topics. You can look at who's opening the information and the content. You can, work with your wellness committee on content and strategize on how this particular program, Wellness 401k, can really help booster what you currently have in place, or if you have some wellness initiatives for 2021. So again, great program. Our clients that have been involved in Wellness 401k over the last year or so have really, really loved it because it's a set it, forget it. It doesn't take a lot of their time. There was no cost. So really great program that we wanted to share with you today during this webinar. So with that said, Mike, I don't know if we have any questions.
We didn't come up, there was maybe a few detailed ones that could be taken offline, but other than that, I think we're good. Awesome.
So Mike and I just want to, to end our Automate Safety and Wellness 401k webinar. We do want to mention that our next webinar is on April 14th, and that's Leadership Safety Training with Christopher McIntosh. Please sign up for that if there's an interest in that. Our contact information is here. We also wanted to share who is involved in our business solutions team. It's something that as a team, we meet on a weekly basis and talk about how we can, constantly be on the forefront of different topics when it comes to business solutions for you. And so with that said, I'll turn it over to Mike to finish up, but thank you for attending, and please be safe and let us know how we can help.
Thank you, Jim. Outstanding job. Again, just to kind of culminate where we're at today, we're helping you with your employee base, helping you retain them, helping you attract new talent, provide that environment so your business thrives and succeeds. Please reach out to us, any of our team members here. Our job here is not only to, to write your insurance and cover your assets and all that stuff, but we're trying to help you be more proactive. Let's invoke the thought of something possibly happening, not reacting after it happens. Anyone can really react after it happens, but let's be cognizant and prevent that catastrophe from really paralyzing your business. So that's all we have for today. Again, thank you for attending. Please reach out to us at Clark Mortensen. Any one of our team will be happy to point you in the right direction. And look forward to seeing you all back on April 14th for our next seminar. Thank you very much.